Hey there. So today we are going to tackle something that I know is a huge deal for a lot of English speakers: how to share your opinion and even disagree without worrying that you're coming across as rude. We're going to build that confidence. Let's jump right in. So let me ask you, have you ever held back what you really think just because you were afraid of sounding, I don't know, too blunt? Or maybe you were worried you might accidentally start an argument. If so, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common feeling. But the great news is, this isn't about learning hundreds of new words. It's actually just about mastering a few key phrases. And just look at this, will ya? The difference is huge. Saying "you're wrong" is like hitting a brick wall. It just shuts down the whole conversation. But something like "I'm afraid I see it a bit differently," well, that opens a door. It's way softer, more respectful, and it invites the other person to keep talking. That's the goal right there. So let's talk about what's really going on here. It's what I call the politeness problem. And the thing is, it's usually not about your vocabulary. It's more about not having the confidence to use the right phrase at the right time.
You know, basic, direct English can sometimes sound a little harsh, even when you don't mean it to. Like, just saying, "sit down," can sound like a command. Our goal here is to add that extra layer of nuance, to soften the edges a bit, so that you always come across as friendly and approachable.
All right, let's get into the good stuff. Think of this next part as your personal opinion toolkit. These are the go-to phrases, your starter pack for pretty much any conversation you're going to have. These right here are your everyday workhorses. Phrases like "I think" or "in my opinion" are just perfect for sharing your ideas in a really neutral, non-confrontational way. They signal, hey, this is just my perspective, not some universal fact. But what about those times when you feel really passionate about something? Well, that's when you pull out these phrases. Using words like "I strongly believe" or "I'm absolutely convinced" adds some real weight to what you're saying. It lets the other person know this is something you feel certain about. And look at all these options. Seriously, this is a great slide to screenshot. Just keep it on your phone and you can give it a quick look before your next meeting or a chat with friends. It's a great little cheat sheet. Of course, it's not all about disagreeing. Knowing how to agree with someone enthusiastically is so important for building connections. Phrases like "I couldn't agree more" or "that's just what I was thinking" really show you're listening and you're on the same team. Here's another fantastic one to save for later. You can see more options for both agreeing and disagreeing. We're going to get to the disagreeing part in just a second, but this is another one you want to have in your back pocket. And hey, sometimes you just don't have a strong opinion, and that is totally okay. Being able to say that politely is actually a really useful skill. Something like "I don't have strong feelings either way," or the more casual "I'm not fussed" works perfectly. Okay, here we go. The main event. Let's totally reframe how we think about this, right? Disagreeing is not a conflict. It's a normal, even healthy part of communication. The whole secret is just learning how to do it with grace, and that's what we're going to do now. This phrase, this one right here, is pure conversational magic. Seriously. Why? Because before you even hint at your own opinion, you're validating theirs. You're showing them you listened and you understood. That first part, "I see your point," makes the "but" that follows a million times easier for them to hear. I love this slide because it breaks things down by intensity. So on the left, you've got your phrases for when you kind of agree, but not completely. And on the right, those are for when you have a totally different viewpoint, but you still want to be super polite about it. All right, ready to level up? We're going to talk about a technique that I like to call a conversational superpower. It's called hedging. And no, it's not about being unsure of yourself. It's about sounding flexible, polite, and honestly, really fluent. So what is it? Put simply, hedging is like wrapping your opinion in a soft blanket. It makes your statements sound less like hard facts and more like suggestions or possibilities. It just leaves a little more room for other people's ideas, you know? You can kind of think of it like a simple recipe. Instead of saying something direct like "that's a bad idea," you could say, "I feel that idea might be a bit complicated." See? You're just combining these little ingredients to create something much softer and more polite. Okay, theory is one thing, but seeing it in action is where it all clicks. So let's do a quick role play to see how all these pieces fit together in a totally normal, everyday conversation. Here we go. So person A kicks things off with a classic opinion phrase, "in my opinion," and then right away gives a reason using "because." That is a perfect, really well-structured opening statement. And bam, look at this reply from person B. It's perfect. First, they validate. I see your point. Then comes the polite disagreement. But for me, followed by their own reason. And then, and this is so important, they toss the ball back by asking, what do you think? That keeps the conversation alive.
And check out the result. Person A doesn't get defensive at all. They hear person B and say, that's a good point. The whole conversation just moves forward into a friendly agreement. See? It's not about winning an argument, it's about having a great exchange of ideas.
So, if you only take away 4 things today, let it be these. Number 1, always validate the other person's idea first. Number 2, use those hedging words to soften things up. 3, give a reason. Explain why you think what you think. And 4, keep the conversation going. Ask a question. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. So, in your opinion, what is the best movie ever made? I want you to use the phrases we talked about today and tell us why in the comments below. Let's get a good conversation started. Thanks for tuning in.